Welcome back to Melissa Talks, where we talk all things uniquely you. For the month of March, we are celebrating Women's Month, and we're doing this by highlighting amazing women that are leading and making an impact in various industries. Today's guest is Bridget Robinson. Bridget is a Christian mother, business solution consultant, and lover of life. She has over 20 years of experience in the education industry, beginning her career as a classroom teacher in Escambia County, Florida schools. She has designed, taught curriculum, or led curriculum teams across many industries and areas, including K through 12, higher education, the penal system, several branches of the military, financial technology, mortgage origination, and commercial roofing. In her current role as Sales Communication and Training and Development Manager with Elevate Commercial Roofing Systems, she oversees communication channels to sales teams as well as the company's training strategies and synergies. She lives in the Florida Panhandle with her amazing twin sons. Welcome to the show, Bridget.
Thank you. Hello,
Thank you
everybody.
so much for joining us
Thank
today.
you for having me.
You're welcome. And so this is an industry that you don't see very many women, but especially African American women, right? Black women,
Absolutely.
yeah, are not in this space. And when we got to talking in more detail about it, I was like, wait a minute. We need to shine some light on this aspect of the industry because many women, especially me initially, did not know much about it. So, moving into this whole journey of roofing, can you just share a bit about your background with it and how you got started in this industry?
So my background is actually in the corporate space and on the learning and development, training and development side versus commercial roofing. So how did I get started in commercial roofing? Is I was working in financial technology
Hmm.
and specifically with a focus on mortgage lending.
Hmm.
And when the market kind of sort of collapse. My team was eliminated, and so this was the next role that came up.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's how I ended up in roofing. It's not
Kind of
not
a
yeah, it
divine
was not
push
intentional,
into
and
it.
I was
Yeah.
like, I could, at that point, I had led a lot of teams, so I was confident in my ability to lead the team, but I had no idea how big commercial roofing was and the impact that it has on industry and the economy and big business.
Yeah,
But now I know.
exactly. And so you're going to share with the rest of us here.
Yeah.
So with that, there's going to be challenges. There's always barriers, things of the sort. What are some of the challenges that you faced as a woman in this male-dominated industry?
It's going to be the learning curve. I will tell you, I've had phenomenal male allies and advocates in my role. So the biggest barrier has just been the learning curve,
Hmm.
learning um, what types of membranes go on roofs
Hmm.
in one region versus the other. Um, what do our different audience profiles want to know? And how do they want that information? Because, of course, my teams design curriculum.
Hmm.
And so, yeah, the biggest barrier has definitely been my lack of knowledge about manufacturing and also the roofing industry.
Yeah, yeah, and definitely, as you said, how you got here, that is something you have to keep in mind. And so, you have been able to obviously weather that. And how did you, look to overcome these barriers? And what advice would you give to another woman who's considering potentially working in an area like this?
And it's what I tell my sons, invest on your own knowledge, right?
Yes,
So
yes.
it is a matter of me doing the extra work. I did not know what TPO was. I didn't know what PVC. I didn't know when we used asphalt. I didn't know how we applied asphalt. I did not know what would make a company buy one. membrane, the what they lay on the top of the roof, right? Uh, in
Okay. Yeah.
commercial roof over the other, like I didn't know that initially. And so it really was a matter of me networking within the organization, making friends amongst our product managers
Mhm.
and our sales teams
Yeah.
and saying like, hey, can you tell me more about this? Like, let's grab dinner, let's grab lunch. And so that's how I learned. So what would I tell people? Own your own knowledge. Get out there, find out what you need to know, find out what you don't need to know. There's no dumb question. And maybe that's comes from my education background where I'm not
Hmm.
afraid to ask the question. It's like if I don't know, it's like, hey,
Yeah. Ask
what thing?
somebody.
Ask the
Right.
questions. I tell people, I'm like, if you don't know, like you really are like 1 degree away from knowing
Yeah.
sometimes. And so just ask the question. So
Yeah.
that's what I do.
Yeah, and that's the thing, not every we have to realize that not everybody's willing to just step out for the moment and say, I don't know this. Can you help me? Can you show me, XYZ? And, obviously we talk about our various fields and what we're in. That is one of the biggest things with new nurses, me
Oh,
being
really?
in the nursing field is just asking the questions. So that is
That's,
an amazing, when you say that,
yeah.
that's just one key aspect of it all that really, like you said, 1 degree away from it, just asking the questions. So that's excellent. So moving into various skills, because you mentioned your background and you mentioned this is
And when you were reading it, I was like, well, Bridget, you left out a lot of stuff. Like you left out so much. Like I did not just one day was like, I was a teacher, and then I was like, ooh, I'm gonna go into corporate leadership. That is not how that happened.
right. Well, I'm glad you're filling in the blanks here.
It was there were several steps in between there.
So those skills, you had to bring some of those skills over. And that's what I'm
yeah.
doing here. What transferable skills do you believe, even for yourself or someone else, are valuable when entering this industry?
It was, I would say it's not the industry. It was transitioning from, and so let me just add a little context.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
went from public school to nonprofit management to, I did some consulting work, right? Which I learned a ton as a consultant.
Yeah.
Just freelancing in with different smaller businesses. So and then after that, then I transitioned into corporate America. And so the transferable skills, what is it? I will say one of the ones that have been so terminology, pause. So regarding transferable skills from throughout industry. And so when I say industry, I'm talking about K-12, higher ed, like the military, and then as a freelancer into corporate America, definitely pivotal transferable skills are going to be stakeholder relations.
Mm,
Um,
that's good.
I'm going to say understanding, reading the room. I tell my mentees, you got to know when to hold them and when to fold them, right? So
Mm.
you have to be able to say, like, okay, I feel like this is a theme that keeps coming up. And so I have a way, knowing when to hold them and when to fold them is it transcends industry, right? So
Yeah, yeah.
understand what does that look like? That means if you're in a town hall with your CEO and you're listening to themes and then you hear something very similar come through from your VP. So your VP could be like your supervisor or your manager because messages cascade down. Um, that those are definitely some skills that I feel like I've used in every industry. And I'll, yeah, so that would kind of be like reading the room also. I do
Yeah,
really well there. And also connecting the dots and designing solutions. That was actually one of the pillars at a company I worked for previously. And I've just taken it with me throughout my career. Like always be in a mindset to design solutions.
yeah.
And it works out really well for you in your career, actually. Mhm.
Awesome. So, what opportunities for growth and advancement have you found in this area, and how can others leverage that?
Lots of, I would say that the opportunities for growth and advancement transcend industry. So when
Mm-hmm.
I think that, so what I'm about to say, anybody can look at. So you're going to look at, your midterm plans, your 5-year strategic plan, and find yourself in that piece, right? And the areas that they're looking to grow. In my current role, part of it is finding synergies, right? So I could just say, um, hey, these are the synergies, but I could also see myself in those synergies
Mm-hmm.
and put myself in a position to advance because I know, hey, these things are important to the corporation. This is what I can contribute. I bring a certain skill set, I bring a certain knowledge base, I bring a certain network already within the corporation. And hey, in this role, I could leverage that. So, but that's not something that is unique to roofing.
Yeah.
That is in every industry. How do you see yourself? How do you see yourself designing solutions? Um, Tell people what's in it for them,
Yeah.
right? Hey, I can offer this. And I'm gonna say something because I hear this all the time. I'm sorry, Melissa. I'm using your platform to preach to fuss. But there's these discussions that I see people having. It's like, don't take on the stretch assignment. Girl, go home. I'm like, okay, every promotion I've gotten, which has been a lot of them,
Uh-huh.
have come from stretch assignments.
Now you say stretch assignment.
Stretch assignments.
Explain that
So,
for those who will not know what that is.
okay, a stretch assignment is something, here we go, ladies and gentlemen, that is not in your job description. It's
Yes.
not there.
Thank
It's
you.
not included. It has nothing to do with what you have going on. Your boss comes and say, hey, we have this new project. Would you like to serve on this team? Uh, Take it. Is it gonna get you some more exposure? That's what my mom always said. They're paying you to do it anyway. It's not like you did it for free. If you were on the
Exactly.
payroll, if you were on salary the whole time you did it, it's okay. Take the
Exactly.
stretch assignment, learn more about the organization, learn more of these key stakeholders that you would not normally be exposed to. And it comes from the stretch assignment. So Bridget says take the stretch assignment.
That's good.
So that is definitely that was not included in my transferable skills, but I'm gonna go with opportunities for growth.
Yes, it led right into it, and that was a perfect because everybody's now, that's not in my job description, that's above my pay, that's above, all these different things, that people may say, but a lot of times
And
just
there,
going the extra mile can get you that opportunity for
if a
advancement.
man asks you to go a mile with him twain. That is scripture.
Yeah,
And it's okay, ladies
it's
and
okay.
gentlemen, to go the extra mile, to take on the stretch assignment, to get involved. And you are then privy to information you would not be privy to in your circle, your small circle. So
Oh, that's good. That's
yeah.
good. That's good. So moving into you mentioned how you talk to your mentees. Can you discuss that importance of having mentorship? We've already kind of talked about that networking, but overall, what does that look like when it comes to the mentorship aspect of it, and especially as it relates to women in this industry?
Somebody actually just led a panel on mentorship at
Hmm.
National
Hmm.
Women in Roofing Conference. I was there. Was that last week? It was
Yes,
recently. It's been a
San
lot
Antonio.
going on.
San Antonio,
Um,
Texas, everyone. That's where the conference
in
was.
San Antonio, Texas, yes. So National Women in Roofing is a network of women who work in the roofing industry. And so
Hmm.
it's really one of phenomenal organization. I am always, you know, inspired by, I mean, engineers, scientists, or a chemist, well, a chemist is a scientist, but VPs, manager, I mean, construction owners, general contractors for women.
Yes.
Just a phenomenal organization, just very strong, knowledgeable women in the industry. We were talking about mentorship. And so what is the importance of it? It is having someone who will be really candid with you and kind of give you the key. And
Yeah.
they say, hey, you don't have to go that long route. there is still a path for you. Do it this way. And I recommend like you looking out for these things. Like I said, take the stretch assignment.
Yeah.
Don't tell these people. I mean, if someone is mistreating you on your job, you probably shouldn't be there anyway. But if you're in an environment where you have an opportunity to learn more about a new initiative or help out or volunteer, take it. That's the type of guidance that comes from a
Yeah. Yeah.
mentoring relationship. The opportunity to build trust and be candid and transparent with people, and help them.
Yeah.
I think that those are all important in
Okay.
mentor-mentee relationships.
That's good. So with that, I'll move into it. You do, as I mentioned in the beginning in your bio, have two twin sons,
I
right?
do.
You have a family, you have work, and you have any other obligations as a woman.
Mhm.
How do you look to manage that work-life balance in including that in this industry as well? How does that all come together?
For me, it is going to be trusting God. I will tell you, I my sons and I talk about this all the time. So I was working in corporate America. It was my first corporate job. I never forget my son. He was like, I don't want you to go to work anymore. My younger twin sons. And I looked at him and I was like, how am I supposed to feed you if I
Right.
don't go to work? He said, I don't want you to go to work. I don't like it when you go to work.
Mm, mm,
And I said, okay, well, you pray and you ask God for all this to work out for you. Like, I don't even know what to say to you, son.
yeah.
And God and I have gone on this most incredible journey of me working from home. This was pre-COVID.
Mm,
I transitioned from a corporate job. I started freelancing, and I have been home since. When was COVID? 2020.
yeah, yeah.
So I've
That's
been
when you
home since
started.
2019. So I have. So how do I balance it? I'm so thankful for the ability to um work from home and also advance in my career in a climate where I understand people are not advancing when they don't want to go back to the into corporate offices. So I'm just super thankful to God. Like, but it all started with my son sitting on the couch and telling me he doesn't like it when I go to work. And I was like,
Okay.
well, I don't really know how that works. And so
But we're gonna
here
trust God.
we don't trust God. I don't really
Right.
know. And like I said, it has been an incredible journey. I'm so thankful. So balance, it really does help to be able to be at home. And I know because I've led teams that, some of them have been at home and some of them in the office. And ladies and gentlemen, your manager can tell if you're not working. Okay. So I am
Yeah.
very thankful that um to have leadership that allows me to continue to work from home. I do travel in market,
Hmm.
but I'm mostly at home. So 80% of the time I'm home. So that's how I balance it. I work a lot, but I do get an opportunity to see my sons every morning and every evening. And so
Yeah. And
that
that's
eases my
definitely
mind.
exactly. And that's definitely a blessing because not everybody has that. And so when it comes to those who, like you said, some are still in the office, some are also working from home, you're going to really have to look to one, if you're a believer, pray. Because again, you trust in God and hearing your son, leading him to pray, you giving it to God. Look at how, of course, it
Look
turned
at
out for you.
the pandemic
So,
happened. I was like, what? I was already home. I was like, okay, this is the
right,
thing. I'm already here. I don't feel any type of way about you having to stay home from school. That's cool.
right, right. So,
We're all in this together. So yeah. So how do I manage my work-life balance if it wasn't for the Lord on my side? Where would I be? I would
where
be a
would
hot
you be?
mess.
There you go. There you go. And so as we get ready to close here, for the demand of this field. You said you were just at a conference, that's nationally, done where there were women from various areas, and coming together, to, I'm sure, talk about different things. You mentioned mentorship is what you were there to be able to discuss with them. Long term, as it relates to this area, what is that long-term outlook for roofing in terms of job demand and stability? Were there any things that, was mentioned or brought up with the outlook from now to maybe 2028? What does that look like?
Okay. So think about our society,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so we go in buildings, think schools. I work in commercial roofing, so think
Yeah,
large buildings, schools, airports, shopping malls, retail locations. It has to have a roof. It
exactly.
can't leak. There is so much opportunity in commercial roofing. Even in residential roofing, right? Because if your home does not have an adequate roof, they're going to deem it uninhabitable. And so
Mhm.
lots of opportunity. And so I'll say from the beginning to the end, right? So from manufacturing to roof application to general contracting to re-roofing to site, there is lots of opportunity. I encourage people to look. I'm like, I had no idea how big roofing was
Yeah.
until I joined the roofing industry. So lots of opportunity for growth, lots of jobs on the market. Even
Yeah.
if you wanted to start, as a laborer, like I said, a laborer to a foreman. If you're not, I went the college route. I understand that's not for everyone, but there are a lot of hands-on
Yeah.
opportunities in the field also. So roofing needs accounting. Roofing, we have lawyers, we have project managers, we
Yeah.
have copywriters, we have scientists, across like literally probably every major represented. It's crazy. It's not
That,
crazy. It's just a cool experience. It's a cool experience.
so you're pretty much saying if you really want to do it, there's an opportunity to do it out
There's an opportunity. You have to advocate for
for
yourself
yourself.
and you have to demonstrate how you're an asset
Yeah.
to the company, but definitely the opportunity there.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you so, so, so much again for joining us, Bridget. Again, this was an area, a space that I did not have a lot of information on until we got to talking and even hearing now, your journey into it and, how you are still there and maintaining and, of course, networking and all that comes along with it. It's amazing. It's amazing. So, listeners, I really hope that you took in this information. And if you're looking to get started in this area, like she said, it's out there. I mentioned already where the name of this company. So, if you do your research, you can find it. And so, the name of that conference again, that was just in San Antonio.
So it was two. I was there for National Women in Roofing and
That's
the
it.
International Roofing Expo, which had, I think there were about 16,000 people there from
Amazing.
all over the world,
Amazing.
just talking about roofing. That's all we were talking about. Just roofing.
Just roofing. So
Just roofing.
if you're sitting in your home listening to this, if you're sitting at your job listening to this, you're sitting under a roof,
You
okay?
are sitting under a roof and there is room for you.
And there is room for you. Somebody at one of those conferences probably took care of that roof, or somebody who knows somebody took care of the
Absolutely.
roof that
The
you're
industry
sitting
needs your skill set. The industry needs your skill set.
I love it. Well, thank you again for joining us. This is Melissa Talks, where we talk all things uniquely you. So be sure to tune in next week. We have another amazing guest that will join the show for the month of March. Again, as we continue to highlight women that are excelling among us. Until next time, bye.